What up, ladies and gentlemen? We're back. This is your host, Nigel, from BK, Elevated Souls Radio. You already know which way to go. The podcast that gets high when they go low. Today, we're talking mental fitness and some ways that you can improve your mental health and your mental fitness. So stay tuned until after these messages, and we'll be right back. What's up, people? I got a question for you. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? Look, when I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. Questions like, how do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps that people like to listen to? How do I make money from my podcast? And the answer to all of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. I love that Anchor allows me to, add this ad to my episode, no pun intended, and it makes it more personalized because I don't have some company attempting to use their voice or their audio on my show, and I get to do it how I would like to do it, as well as I get to capture these ideas that come to me and share them with the world. I get to push my cause. I get to post with intention. I get to take everything that is on my iPhone or my computer or my voice notes and turn them into a podcast episode. I can even do it through the many digital audio workstations, if you're aware of those. So, if you always wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join me in the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast, and thank you for tuning into this ad. With love. All right, y'all. So we're back. So I got 3 ways or 3 things that can contribute to better mental health. And the first of 3 things is to pay attention to your attention algorithm. No pun intended. Now, the attention algorithm is pretty much all the things you pay attention to. Now, the foods you eat, the shows you watch, the music you listen to, the sounds, the ads, and the energy that you are presented with daily. The more you consume those things and the more you pay attention to those things, the universe gets an energetic signature from you saying, I want more of that. It's the same way that social media works. The more you look at a certain type of post, the more you interact with a certain type of post, the more time you spend, the more intention you give to a particular type of content, you're going to see more of that kind of content through the algorithms. And it's the same way with your attention. The more attention you give things, the more that shows up in your experience. I like to share a quote with Dr. Wayne Dyer that goes, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that goes directly with this, when you start to be more mindful and aware of what you're looking at, then you're able to control what you experience more. You have more control over what you experience. See, it is up to us to decide whether we live in a hostile or friendly universe. And once we decide those things, we switch from beware to be aware. And, that's just one of the ways to improve your mental fitness. Moving on to the second way that you can improve your mental fitness is, as Sir Isaac Newton once said, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So things happen to us in our lives that cause energy sometimes to be stuck, and there'll be like traumatic experiences, painful experiences, hurtful words or hurtful deeds, or times that we feel like someone has wronged us or something like that. And if we hold on to those experiences and those memories, then we block the energy from moving through us. And there's actually a Sanskrit word for that. It's called Samskara. And I learned about this from reading The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. I recommend you listeners to check that out. And hit us up on Insta and let us know what you thought about that book when you do get a chance to read it or listen to the audiobook, however you experience it. But back to the point, when you get rid of that samskara, that blockage, you actually allow that stored up energy to move through you. And based on Isaac Newton's principle and the principle of energy, you can replace that. A void is created, and then you can replace that with something better. You can release hurt and give forgiveness. You can release pain and receive healing. It's almost like a recipe when you're making banana bread, and you need to put milk in part of the recipe. But if you don't want to drink milk anymore and you want to try something else, in order to make the banana bread, you need milk, some kind of milk, to add to that recipe. So you can't just say no milk, because then the recipe won't be fulfilled. But if you add like almond milk, cashew milk, rice milk, one of the alternatives for a different experience, you'll still get your banana bread recipe fulfilled. So you can't just go cold turkey, or you can't just go with nothing, leave that void open, because if you do, clear that samskara and remove that blocked energy, and that void is opened, then if you fail to replace that with something better, or a good habit, so to speak, replacing that bad habit with a good habit, then you'll go right back to that bad habit, or you'll go right back to whatever it was that you gave up. If you choose not to forgive, you'll go right back to that hurt pattern. If you choose not to heal, you'll go right back to experiencing that pain. It happens again and again until you learn the lesson. That's just the way it goes. So, the attention algorithm, pay attention to what you watch, eat, listen to, the sound, and, the energy, things you consume, things you see and look at. We pay attention to the samskara, blocked energy, move it, from being blocked. Release, give, release, give, receive, give, receive. All right, the third way that you could improve your mental fitness is going to be through emotional intelligence. Bruce Lee once shared a quote that I'll share with you. It goes, "You will continue to suffer if you have an emotional reaction to everything that is said to you. True power is sitting back and observing everything with logic. If words can control you, that means everyone else can control you. Breathe and allow things to pass." Now, it's very true. Like almost a universal truth. Being able to sit still and, respond mindfully to things is a sure way to live a more fulfilled life and to take care of your mental faculty, which is what we're aiming to do here, give you guys and gals ways to take care of your mental health. Correct thought is mastery, self-control is strength, and calmness is power. So you think good thoughts, you choose what you're thinking, you think what you want to think, you bring into experience what you want to experience, you give your attention to the things you want to give attention to, and you're on your road to mastery, self-mastery. have self-control, have discipline over, temptations and compelling deals, saving. The list goes on, and that's actually strength in that. It's actually strength in saying no. There's actually strength in having boundaries. There's actually strength in not doing something you don't want to do just because you're being a people pleaser. There's strength in letting go of being a people pleaser and, choosing yourself, self-care, self-love, self-control. There's strength in that. And also there's strength in taking care of your mental health. Don't let anyone tell you that it's taboo or that it's wrong for you to care for yourself and wrong for you to take control of your environment the way you want to see it. And last but not least, calmness is power. A lot of people, even including myself at one point, viewed power or powerful beings as someone like they were seeing movies, the king of a monarch or whatever, something like that. He's very mighty and powerful, but that's not really the way that powerful individuals really operate. Like we use Michael Jordan as an example. He had his moments where things got a little out of hand on the basketball court, but according to Phil Jackson and the Chicago Bulls, they had a lot of spirituality in that locker room, and they utilized a lot of spiritual practices before they would get into a game. And those games were like high stakes games, championships on the line, the playoffs, the difference between winning a season and being getting a scoring title versus losing to someone else. And he came out on top. He came out as one of the best people to ever play the game through, believe it or not, taking control and being mindful of what it is he does and how he acts and how he plays on the court. And he had a calm demeanor to him. Same with Bruce Lee. They had a calm demeanor to them, but that calmness was still very intense. But at the same time, it was like observing and ready, So I'd like to thank y'all for tuning into this episode and paying attention. Thank you for your energy. I appreciate it. Sending y'all good vibes, good energy, and all that. I'd like to ask if you like this podcast, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and follow us on the social medias. You already know the handles. It's in the bio. It's in the link in the description here, and as well as like us on Facebook and share this episode if you found it helpful. I appreciate it. This is your host, Nigel from BK, signing off. Love y'all. Let's go.